What if I told you that giving your child just $5,500 a year for 10 years could potentially turn into more than $4 million for retirement? Sounds crazy, right? But that's exactly why we're talking about minor Roth IRAs today. This is Money Not Math, where we take complicated financial concepts and make them simple. What is a minor Roth IRA? A minor Roth IRA is simply a Roth IRA owned by a child. Now, here's the important rule. Your child must have earned income. That could be from working at a family business, babysitting, mowing lawns, lifeguarding, working at a local restaurant, or any legitimate job where income is reported appropriately. The contributions can come from the child's earnings or from a parent or grandparent gifting the money. The key is that the child must have earned at least as much income as the contribution amount. Why I love this strategy. Most people think retirement planning starts in their 40s or 50s, but the real secret isn't how much money you invest, it's how much time you give that money to grow. A minor Roth IRA gives your child something that's impossible to buy later in life. Impossible. Decades of compounding. And because it's a Roth IRA, qualified withdrawals in retirement are generally tax-free under current tax laws. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and show you exactly what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm showing you here is $5,500 saved or invested for 10 years at an assumed 8% interest rate. Now, keep in mind the market can fluctuate much higher or much lower than 8%, but we got to pick a number, and I think that's a reasonable assumption for this hypothetical example. So that 5,500 over 10 years would be $55,000 saved, and that over 10 years would grow to 86,000. Pretty impressive, right? Not bad, about $30,000 of growth just in that 10 years. And most people would stop there thinking, cool. But here's the important part. If we take that $86,000 you've accumulated in those 10 years, whether it's from the time your kid's 8 to 18 or 6 to 16 or 20 to or 10 to 20, it doesn't really matter. This is hypothetical. And then we never contribute again. That $86,000 and you never give another penny. Your kid goes off to college or out in the workplace and you never contribute again. We take the 86,000 and we let it sit for 10 more years. So now if they're 18 and it grows till they're 28, that 86,000 has now grown to 186,000. Pretty cool, right? Now, if we go up to 20 years, that 86,000 grows to 401,000, even more impressive. If we go up 30 years, so if they were 18 when you on your last contribution, they may now be 48. That's $866,000 rounded, of course, off your $55,000 of gifts. $5,500 a year for 10 years. After 30 years of it sitting there contributing no more money, it'd be 866,000. Now, what if we look at 40 years? That's 1 point almost $9 million. So if they were 18, now they'd be 58. What if we look out to 68, hypothetically? So 50 years. That's over $4 million from you or a grandparent or combination contributing $5,500 a year for 10 years and then never contributing again, just letting it sit there and ride the market for our 50 years. In this example, that gift could be equal to $4 million when they're about 68 years old. That's powerful stuff. Most grandparents and parents want to leave something meaningful for their children. We think about college, we think about helping with a first home, we think about inheritance planning. But imagine helping your child start retirement with decades of tax-free growth already working in their favor. That's an incredible gift. Not because of the dollars you're putting in today, but because of the decades you're giving those dollars to grow. Of course, investment returns are never guaranteed and actual results will vary. This example is hypothetical and used for illustrative purposes only, but it does demonstrate the potential impact of starting early. If you'd like to learn more about strategies that can help your family build long-term wealth, we'd love to have a conversation. I'm Drew Erickson. Thanks for watching Money Not Math, and we'll see you next time. Bye.